Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2 promises to be absolutely insane. We will be running around with Mjolnir in an upcoming season, but that's not even the best part from the entire story, and Battle Pass being revealed to the character we've been waiting 4 years for. I'd like to start with perhaps one of the biggest and most anticipated pieces of news that has literally blown up the community. But first, smash that like button if you haven't already. It is no secret that numerous leaks have practically confirmed the return of Kratos. However, let's dig deeper. We aren't just talking about a rerun of the old skin we've seen before. Insiders are hinting at a full integration of the new version of Kratos from God of War, Ragnarok. Imagine the contrast. Instead of the furious Spartan, we might get the wise but stern father, the dad of all video games, possibly even as part of the Battle Pass. This opens up a huge field for theories. The appearance of his son, Atreus, is not out of the question, and naturally, I would hope that this time he plays a real part in the story, rather than just becoming another model in the locker. As is well known, the next season will be closely tied to Norse mythology, Valhalla, Yggdrasil. And isn't this the absolute best, literally ideal moment to pull the God of War into the lore of the loop? We remember how Epic knows how to link guest characters to the plot when they want to. It feels like Odin himself ordered Kratos to become the central figure of the resistance, or conversely, a destructive force that changes the balance on the island. If we look at Kratos' history, his entire existence is defined by breaking cycles, breaking his oath to Ares, breaking the hold of the Fates, and breaking the cycle of patricide in Ragnarok. Fortnite is literally defined by a cycle, the loop. My theory is that the Norse gods arriving in Season 2 aren't just visiting, they are trying to harness the zero point to rewrite their own fate. Imagine Odin realizing that the zero point allows for infinite restarts. He could be trying to use the island's time loop mechanics to prevent Ragnarok eternally. This would put Kratos in a unique position. He would be fighting to shatter the loop itself because he knows that an endless cycle is just a prison by another name. For now, it's just a theory. Drop yours in the comments, it's always fun to hear them. But the God of War isn't the only one heading into the next season. It has become known that even more Gaming Legends skins will soon appear in Fortnite, obtainable via purchases in the Epic Games Store. This is where some interesting business analytics come into play. Epic is launching a large-scale partnership program tied to its store. The campaign is set to start as early as February, and the first sign of this will be a collaboration with Resident Evil, Requiem. For us, as players and content creators, this means one thing: the flow of content will not dry up. Steve Allison, the general manager of the Epic Games Store, stated that they plan to release over 100 partnerships a year. Just think about that number. This makes it crystal clear that after such news, tons of collaborations with any future major game await us. This turns Fortnite into not just a game, but a true media hub. And since we are talking about legends, in recent days, the collaboration with Overwatch, which many had ceased to believe in, was confirmed 100%. Honestly, I am insanely happy. It finally happened. After so many years without a hint, seeing only fan concepts, we are finally getting what we have waited so long for. As we recall, there were previous leaks regarding a Hanzo skin, and I can already imagine how cool mythic bows with his abilities would look. However, it is possible that we will also get Tracer, who is arguably the face of the entire Overwatch franchise. Her ability to rewind time could become an incredible movement mechanic that flips the meta. This collaboration will also take place during the second season, making it one of the most content-rich seasons in recent years. Now, I would like to talk about the structure and length of the season itself. It will last only 56 days. Honestly, I have mixed feelings about this, though they are mostly positive. I don't know why Epic made this decision, whether it was a desire not to drag things out, or an attempt to make us feel a more dynamic rhythm. Compared to the first season, this feels like a sprint. After all, hand on heart, the first season, which lasts a total of 3 months, is starting to feel somewhat long and sluggish. Yes, we had Winterfest and a rather amusing collaboration with South Park, but by the end of the 3rd month, it all starts to seem a bit drawn out. We simply get tired of the same map and meta. I experienced similar sensations during Chapter 6, Season 4, which also turned out to be quite dragged out. Fortunately, we had Fortnite Mares back then, which literally saved the situation by flipping the gameplay experience and the vibe of the map as a whole. So frankly, the 56-day duration of the second season might actually play into Epic's hands, and ours too. I expect something driven, similar to what we had in Chapter 5 Season 2. Just remember how new that felt. Flying on the wings of Icarus, wielding Zeus's thunderbolt, that was pure action. Hopefully, such a fast seasonal pace will play a positive role in player engagement. For us content makers, it is a breath of fresh air. There is always something to discuss, always a new reason for a video or stream. This opens opportunities for new boundaries and modes, because as we recall, the Metaverse with Disney is just around the corner. In that collaboration, they will likely manage to surprise us in ways we cannot even imagine. Perhaps this Norse bridge is leading us towards something grandiose that will unite all these universes into one cohesive story. Officially, UFN came into play after the final event of Chapter 4, when Jones launched the rocket with the time machine into the 0 point. That explosion shattered reality into trillions of fragments. Each fragment became its own world, either built by Epic themselves or by the players. In short, Fortnite turned into a full-blown metaverse. Sounds massive, right? Sure. But here's the problem. In chasing trends, Epic stripped away the one thing that made Fortnite special, the unified atmosphere of the original game. Instead, we got a giant sandbox. Hundreds of maps, many of them feeling the same, most of them built just to squeeze the monetization system. The original vision for UFN was ambitious though, a space where everyone could find something they liked. Minigames, quests, shooters, full-on RPGs. Basically, Epic stepped directly onto Roblox's turf, and at the time, Roblox was riding its peak wave of popularity. But to compete with a platform like Roblox, flashy tools aren't enough. You need a strong incentive for creators, and that is where money steps in. Big money. To keep it simple, the formula is this. The more players visit your map, and the longer they stay, the more cash you make. Other factors also play a role, like audience retention, how many people add your map to favorites, and so on. But the main number that decides everything is online activity. The higher it is, the bigger the payout. Some creators are already pulling in six-figure checks. According to Epic's official stats, 7 creators made over $10 million, 14 made over $3 million, and 37 made more than $1 million. Not bad for a free editor, right? And get this, a creator named Panville pulled around $20 million in a single year just from his box fight maps. Funny thing is, in the early days, Epic acted like true guardians of quality. They promised heavy moderation on UFN, so players wouldn't drown in trash content. They banned misleading thumbnails, cracked down on cheap copycats, and pushed the message that Fortnite should stay a space for creativity, not just cash grabs. But then, in an interview, Epic rep Dan Walsh casually admitted they had no real way of stopping the flood of low-effort maps. That basically killed the narrative of, "We're protecting the players." Even so, some creators are still using UFN to its full potential, building with ambition and craft. The problem is, recommendations rarely reward them. Instead, they boost the most generic 5-minute islands that rake in clicks. Why does that happen? The answer is simple: money. It looks like the more maps there are, even the most low-effort ones, the better the engagement numbers. And engagement means retention, stats, advertisers, and all that corporate jazz. The result? Instead of a unique sandbox where creators poured their soul into building worlds, we got a half-baked Roblox knockoff stuffed with cheap copy-paste content. And here's the irony. Epic is now playing by the same rules they swore to fight against in the beginning. Which brings us to the real reason this whole video exists. On August 30th, a map called Steal the Brainrot suddenly shot into the top recommendations. And at first glance, it could have gone unnoticed. But then Epic launched a full-on promo campaign for it, blasting it across X, Instagram, and more. That alone raised eyebrows. But the real kicker, they featured it in Fortnite's own news tab, even giving it a giant banner in the main section. The kind of spotlight usually reserved for big-time events. Not even the item shop gets that kind of love. Unfair doesn't even begin to cover it, but Epic went further. They pushed mobile notifications directly to players, promoting updates to this brain roadmap. That was the breaking point. Even the most die-hard defenders of UFN and the Metaverse started losing it. Comments under Epic's posts turned into a full-blown cancel campaign. People who defended Epic at every turn suddenly flipped sides. And yet, the map peaked at over 400,000 active players. Let that sink in. That's more than Epic's own top modes combined. On paper, you might say fine, it's just another weird map, let it be. But here's the thing, Steal the Brainrot isn't even an original Fortnite creation. It is literally a copy of a Roblox map that's been pulling insane numbers, hitting up to 20 million players. So now we're stuck with this picture. Epic is promoting a mediocre map that was ripped from another game. And the fallout? Not only are Fortnite players roasting Epic, now even Roblox fans are clowning them, pointing out that Fortnite is chasing their content. The irony is brutal. Back in the day, Fortnite was the game that set the trends. Other titles copied its mechanics, its style, its ideas. Now Fortnite is out here promoting a copy-paste hype map from Roblox, not even trying to improve it or give it a unique twist. Think about that. A game with billion-dollar budgets is taking inspiration from projects made by teenagers after school. And here's the real damage. Moves like this instantly kill trust in Fortnite, and especially in UFN. Remember how they sold it to us? A platform for unique projects, a breeding ground for the next generation of game dev. That was the dream. But the reality? Instead of innovation, Epic basically legalized endless copy-paste. And it doesn't stop there. The hype around Steal the Brainrot completely wrecked Fortnite's recommendations tab. Dozens, if not hundreds of knockoff Brainrot clones started flooding the system. Now every player who just wants to take a break from Epic's official modes and try something fresh gets buried under waves of recycled trash. Naturally, after seeing this, most people want nothing to do with UFN. But let's circle back to the fact that Epic themselves pushed Brainrot so hard. Some of you might say fine, they promoted it, who cares? Don't like it, don't play it. Fair. But here's the issue. When the same type of map keeps showing up in recommendations, the community reads that as Epic's official stance. Not, we gave creators freedom, but we are actively driving traffic here. And that's where the real question hits. Where does this leave the long-standing modes like Battle Royale or Zero Build? The ones people return to for months at a time. Without curation, the recommendations turned into a junk fair. A dopamine casino that rewards quick clicks over lasting gameplay. And sure, we all know why they multiply. Quick asset flips, copy-paste economies, ready-made code guides. Easy to mass produce, easy to reskin. But altogether it feels like a conveyor belt. Add on top official promo blasting straight into the game and socials, and players see it as turbo promotion for mediocrity. Micro trends flare up, spike in players, ride the hype, and vanish overnight. On paper, the numbers look fine, but there's no depth. A new player logs in, and instead of wow moments or big events, they're hit with yet another clickbait grind map. And little by little, the Fortnite brand itself starts to dissolve into this flood of tycoons, recycled brainrots, and endless clones. Now let's be clear, Steal the Brainrot isn't the villain here. It's a symptom. The real issue isn't that the map exists, it's what Epic chooses to spotlight, how they push it with social posts, and even mobile notifications. That's why August 30th blew up the community. Players felt like Epic shifted its priorities away from the core of Fortnite and onto hype-chasing maps, no matter how questionable the content. Alright, so the criticism is loud and clear, but what's the fix? First, we need to nail down the principle. Discovery, recommendations, whatever you call it, is Epic's manifesto. It's not random, it needs curation. Discovery should be treated like an editorial pick, not a slot machine. That's where you highlight maps with actual craft, strong co-op design, quest depth, unique style. And here's the move. Add a quality tag, so players instantly know they're about to play something special. For maps that experiment with mechanics, visuals, narrative, add an originality tag. This kind of anti-clone filter would add transparency and clean out the endless spam. The clickbait clickers, tycoons, and grindfests can stay, sure, but they need their own shelf. Not the top spots where the best maps should shine. Second, Epic needs to create something like a trust ranking. A simple trust signal for players and even for parents would already change the game. Imagine something like an ABC rating system that marks how aggressive a map's loops are. That way you're not banning genres, you're just being transparent. Players can instantly decide if they want in or not. And I know someone's going to say, but people love tycoons and clickbaits. Sure, let them have it. I'm not saying close the genre. The point is balance. Fortnite always had a face. the cartoon style, the massive cinematic live events, the insane collabs. But when the front page turns into an endless conveyor of the same low-quality grind maps, that face starts to blur. We don't want a Fortnite people log into because a timer ticked. We want a Fortnite that pulls us back because something epic is about to happen. The way OGs logged in just to watch Kevin flip, or the way the whole community Some said relax. It's just posts and banners. And yeah, even that is a position. But when day after day, it feels like the main spotlight rewards short retention spikes instead of substance and quality, and then Epic pushes that even harder with promo, that's where the frustration sets in. And the fix is simple. Epic needs to set the rules of the game in public. Tell us what gets promoted and why. They could even go further and launch a creator lab with micro grants and economy reviews, so authors are motivated to improve design itself, not just thumbnails and clickbait. I'm not against creators or Epic making money. I'm all for it. What I want is honesty on the front page. Because here's what happens. A player opens Fortnite, checks Discovery, and instantly reads Epic's position. If there's a quality tag, they know it's something polished. If there's an originality tag, they know it's trying something new. No bans, no drama. Just transparency and taste. And taste, that is exactly what separates a real platform from a random junkyard. So here's the big question for you, the viewers. For all of us as a community, what kind of modes do you want to see on the front page? The ones built to feed timers? Or the ones that give you chills so strong you can't wait to share them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Keep it clear, keep it sharp, and give examples. Maybe instead of trust ratings and tags, you have your own idea to fix big lasting ideas, not cheap flashes that burn out in a week. The latest community scandal was a warning shot. Either Fortnite becomes the home of big ideas again, or it turns into a feeding trough for empty clones with screaming titles and zero creativity. The choice is on Epic, but the voice is on us. I've already grabbed my popcorn, and I'll be watching it all burn from the front row. If you want the best seats too, hit that subscribe, smash that like button, and have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. Take care.